Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. On this channel, we talk about all things fandom, and we talk about it in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you know you've come to the right place. We're so happy to have you here today, because today also happens to be Sci-Fi Sunday on this channel, where we talk about all things sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book related. And today is a topic I wasn't really going to dive into. However, the rumor mill consistently is giving everybody this information that James Gunn is out, and that Warner Brothers is selling, and the Snyderverse is back, and all sorts of crazy rumors like this. So I thought we'd take a look at what the truth of this matter is. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so if you've been following the news about the DC universe right now, about the DCU, you've probably been bombarded by various things saying that James Gunn is out. Now, we have talked about this on our channel before, and why this is not really a plausible idea yet, because he has it in his contract that he is going to be able to finish up the things that he's doing, and that's probably written into his contract explicitly. Now, here's the other thing about that. He also doesn't really have his contract expiring until late next year, potentially too. So all of these things are just rumors and misinformation that is sort of flooding your feeds. Now, that doesn't mean anything really, because chances are he's going to be rehired as the head of the studio, and the reason being that he's not the boss. He still has to answer to someone. And case in point, we actually saw this with Kathleen Kennedy recently, where a lot of people now feel like they owe Kathleen Kennedy an apology, because we were supposed to get an entirely different movie after The Rise of Skywalker that would have been a game changer. It would have taken us right back into the Skywalker saga, with Kylo Ren actually running the show, essentially. It would have been his movie. Kylo Ren would have been alive. A whole crazy thing. But that, my friends, is where things are weird, because we know that Zaslav had always wanted to sell this company. David Zaslav came in, that was the plan, to get the property ready to be sold, because this has been talked about for years, that he was only coming in to make the company worth something, and then they were going to sell parts of it off, or all of it. Now, the funny thing is that one person that actually wanted to buy the company offered him the position as the co-head of the studio. So the co-head of Warner Brothers itself. And that would have been awesome still, because he has done good things. He is the guy who legitimately just cancels and cancels and cancels and cancels everything. However, you have to admit, from a business perspective, this guy has been amazing. And he's the one who took James Gunn and put him in the first place. So you have to realize that he saw this as a good business opportunity. Any businessman that takes on this task, that takes up the buying of this studio, is probably going to look at that as well. Now, that being said, they also have it in your plan. We've known they have it in your plan for the DCU. So the idea that after Man of Tomorrow, this isn't going to exist anymore, is still not a very plausible idea, because they have a couple things to build up, and they're already still moving ahead. He has talked, James Gunn has talked about the plans going forward. He's talked about things changing within the whole DCU. Things are changing because their original plans, their original thoughts on what they were going to do might not have worked out the way they wanted to. It didn't make anything they've done thus far a failure. Just their ideas evolved as they wrote them. That's the thing with a 10-year plan. If you look all the way back at MCU when it first began, they didn't have this massive plan. James Gunn has a plan for 10 years, but that plan is slowly changing and evolving into something else. So the idea that they're going to fire him is kind of not a smart move. But let's talk about some of this. Because David Zaslav wanted to sell the Warner Brothers stuff, that is specifically why he hired James Gunn. There is sort of that idea that this was always going to happen, and James Gunn is aware that this was always going to happen. Do you think that he would take the job and say, yeah, I will take this job, and when someone new comes in, you can just fire me, it's okay, you can fire me, yeah, I'll just take the job for a couple of years, I'll build up a 10-year plan, and then they could just fire me? That doesn't make any sense either. So when you're looking at this, you have to think a little bit critically about what you're being told, because what you're being told is that James Gunn will be out. Nobody has said this. Nobody that is buying the company has said that James Gunn would be out. Everyone that is going to make a bid for this company has made it clear that they want it for this reason or that reason. But we're not even really told all that right now. That's being kept sort of hush-hush. So we're not really in the know about what's going on behind the scenes, about what the people that are buying it are actually talking about with Warner Brothers. So when you look at it that way, it's not logical to say that James Gunn is out. So you have all these people that are saying he's out and he's not. Then James Gunn has been on the interview front lately. He's been talking to a lot of people. He's been saying that they have this plan. And we know that Teen Titans is still on the table. We know that the Wonder Woman movie is coming. We know there's a Batman movie coming. We know that Sergeant Rock is still something that could get made. We know that all this stuff is still going on. Now, Man of Tomorrow, that's kind of a setup. That's kind of a setup to build up the universe, to build up something. They promised they were going to start with Superman. Why not start with the super family? This makes sense. This was in the plans kind of to begin with, that he was going to focus on Superman first, build up that Superman family, that line of comics first. And then you jump into the other things. Then you jump into the other heroes. You find out who they are. So everything has kind of been revolving around Superman at this point, and there is a reason for that. There is a reason for that, and the reason is that there is a plan. So I don't think it's likely that he will be fired when the new people come in and buy Warner Brothers. I don't think that's even plausible. And until I hear otherwise, a definitive person that is buying Warner Brothers that says that if they get it, James Gunn is out. Until I hear that explicitly, until you hear that explicitly, you need to remember that all this stuff is just pure rumor. Everything that you're hearing in this situation is nothing but a rumor. It's nothing but people hopeful that James Gunn will be out because they don't like his films and want the Snyderverse restored. But in reality, if Netflix buys Warner Brothers, the Snyderverse has been gone too long. And I'm sorry to say it, I don't want our superheroes pushing 50 and 60 years old. I want our superheroes to be the superheroes we know from the comics, not the older versions of these characters in some future world. You could do that as an Elseworlds movie. Maybe he continues it on as an Elseworlds movie. But you have more of a chance of James Gunn handing that over to him to go, hey, will you come back and do this as an Elseworlds for us? You have more of a chance of James Gunn connecting with Zack Snyder and saying, hey, Zack, friend, buddy of mine, because they're friends. You have a chance that he would actually say, hey, Zack, I want you to do this for us. I want you to actually come in and finish your project. Do these movies that you wanted to do. If James Gunn is not the one to tell Zack Snyder to do that, it's not going to be done. It's simply not. And that's just the sad fact of the matter, is even if it gets sold to Netflix that has such a good relationship with Zack Snyder, the Snyderverse is gone. Even Zack Snyder has moved on. He's told everyone he's moved on. Now, then they'll point to all the pictures he's been posting on social media. Well, okay, but that doesn't mean anything. He has legitimately just told everybody not that long ago that he's completely done with the DCEU. He is completely done with it. He has moved on. The only way he would come back is if he gets to direct the Batman movie, gets to write and direct the Batman movie he wants to do. And right there, there's a possibility that that could happen in the future. Maybe him and James Gunn talk, but other than that, this is not going to happen. And James Gunn's job is pretty much safe, people. You have to look at it from a business perspective. Like I said in the previous video that we talked about this in. You have to look at it from a business perspective. James Gunn is just starting this whole thing for them. And this has been profitable. The Superman movie, whether you liked it or not, actually made the studio money. It may have lost some money, but you know what? It did start it up. It did actually start their DCU on a high note. But you'll see people running with the idea that this is a loss. You'll see people running with the idea that if this company gets bought, James Gunn's out. You'll see people saying that the DCU is gone and James Gunn is done. And they'll show the little picture of James Gunn with his mouth open. And no. Just no. It's not going to be a thing. That's not going to be something that happens. But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think about all of this. Are you excited about the DCU going forward? Do you think that James Gunn will be fired? If so, why? Have a conversation with me in the comments below. But keep it nice because we are just all fans of the same thing. In this case, we're fans of the DC universe, of the DC comics. So we have to be civil to each other no matter what side of the fence we find ourselves on. Whether we like James Gunn, don't like James Gunn, want Zack Snyder back, don't want Zack Snyder back. Just remember to be kind to each other in the comments. But I do want to hear from each and every one of you. So make sure that you are leaving me that comment in the comment box below. And make sure you share this video with all of your friends so they can be a part of the conversation as well. Then if you like positive content in your feed, you're going to want to let the algorithm know. So make sure you hit that like button so that the algorithm knows that you like positive content in your feed. And then if you like our channel, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. Because friends, at the end of the day, I know it and you know it, fandom is family.